Hello everyone. I'm Takayuki Shinohara of Tokyo Institute of Technology. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to talk about 3D point cloud generation using adversarial training for large-scale outdoor scene. I'm going to divide my presentation into 4 parts. First, I will talk about background and objective of our research. Second, I will show our proposed adversarial training method for point cloud observed by airborne LiDAR. And then, I will talk about experimental result to evaluate our method. Finally, I will show the conclusion of our research and future studies. Let me begin by introducing the background and objectives. Recently, deep learning methods for point cloud are researched in computer vision or machine learning communities. Most of these methods are focused on discriminative models for classification, semantic segmentation, and object detection tasks. But, deep learning-based generative models for point clouds have not been studied enough. Generative models are needed for some creative applications such as 3D city modeling and building modeling. As such, we need to research generative models for airborne point cloud. Here, I will talk about generative model for point cloud. In the computer vision domain, generative adversarial networks, GANs, are widely used for point cloud generation tasks. However, these methods are only focused on point cloud generation for simple objects such as cups and tables. On the other hand, airborne point cloud contains more complex outdoor scenes. For example, we can see buildings, roads, vegetation, and cars in the actual outdoor scene application. Here, I will discuss deep learning-based generative models to achieve point cloud generation in a complex scene. There are 2 popular methods: variational autoencoders called VAEs and generative adversarial networks called GANs. What are the differences between these 2 methods? VAE use clear objective functions and it is easy to train. But, generated results by VAEs are blurred. In contrast, GANs produce clear results. But, GANs do not have a clear objective function and it is hard to train. Therefore, we combine the merits of these 2 methods to deal with complex airborne point cloud. The objective of our research is to propose an adversarial model with VAE and GAN for suitable training and clear generation results. Next, I will talk about our proposed method. Now, I'd like to show the overview of our proposed method. Our network consists of VAE and GAN. VAE uses 2 networks, encoder and generator. The encoder encodes input point cloud into latent vector. The generator reconstructs input points from latent vector from the encoder. In this process, VAE estimates probabilistic distribution of latent vector. The reason why we use VAE is that this encoder-decoder-like network leads to suitable training. Additionally, we use GAN-like discriminator to judge the reconstructed fake data by the generator or randomly sampled from training real data. The discriminator leads to a realistic and clear generated point cloud. Next, I will talk about the encoder network. The encoder estimates latent distribution, defined as Gaussian distribution with learnable mu and sigma as shown in green color. This mu and sigma are estimated by an encoder with PointNet++ based network. PointNet++ is one of the famous network architectures for point cloud with convolution. As the output of encoder, we use a latent vector sampled from Gaussian distribution with estimated mu and sigma. Next, I will talk about the generator. The generator is based on tree-GAN. The tree-GAN-based generator reconstructs input data from latent vector from the encoder. In the reconstruction process, the generator gradually upsamples the number of points. Additionally, after each upsampling, we use graph convolution for making features for spatial relationships. We defined reconstructed data as fake data fed into the next GAN pipeline. In Generator, point cloud generation is implemented taking into account the tree structure. First, input the latent vector of a single point. Next, create 2 points from the input latent vector. For each newly created point, 2 more points are created. By repeating this process of increasing the number of points, the target point cloud is generated. Next, I will talk about the discriminator for the GAN pipeline. The discriminator is based on simple PointNet. PointNet uses pointwise MLP to extract local features and max pooling to extract global features. The last layer of PointNet estimates the probability of belonging to the real data. There are 2 types of input to the discriminator. The first is the fake data reconstructed by the generator via latent distribution. The second one is the real data randomly sampled from all of the training data. If fake data is fed into the discriminator, The discriminator attempts to judge it as fake data. On the other hand, if real data is fed into the discriminator attempts to judge it as real data. After this training process, the distance between probabilistic distribution of generated fake data and real data are minimized. Here, I will introduce the optimization of our network. In the optimization process, we use two types of loss function according to VAE and GAN. The first one is VAE loss. VAE loss consists of reconstruction and regularization loss. The reconstruction loss calculates the distance between generated fake data and input data. As this distance, we use chamfer distance and earth mover distance. Generally, these distances are used for calculating the difference between two sets. Additionally, we use the regularization loss with KL divergence between an estimated latent distribution and prior distributions. The second one is GAN loss. We use Wasserstein gradient penalty loss. In the actual training process, we use all these objective functions. Here, I will talk about experimental results for the evaluation of our method. For this experiment, we used GRSS Data Fusion Contest 2018 data. The target area is an urban area as shown in the upper figure. This area contains buildings, vegetation, roads, and so on. For training our model, we split it into small patches from the original large point clouds due to limitation of GPU memory. We define the patch size as 25 square meters. Additionally, we subsample into the same number of points in each patch. Next, I will talk about the generation phase. First, we prepare input vectors from estimated distribution from the training phase. Next, we generate fake data from input vectors using the trained generator. Finally, we pick up generated fake data including typical objects such as buildings and vegetation. Here, I will introduce the generated point cloud from our generator. We show some typical results including power lines, buildings, the ground, and vegetation. The upper figures indicated raw GAN results without VAE. The lower figures indicated our VAE and GAN results. Our method generated more realistic point clouds than raw GAN without VAE. Finally, I will show the conclusion and future work. For the conclusion, we propose a generative model for point cloud observed by airborne LiDAR using VAE and GAN. Our trained generator was able to make fake point clouds clearly. Qualitatively, our generated fake point clouds were better than those produced by raw GAN. For future work, we cannot evaluate generated point cloud qualitatively, so we must find a way to do qualitative analysis. And, our model can only generate fixed 4096 points, so we should also find a way to generate denser point clouds. Moreover, we have used a traditional generator, so for future work we will use more recent powerful transformer-like generators. Thank you for listening.